so what are we going to do these webinars? Guys? We get this figured out yet?
man.
Well,
we gotta get this stuff done.
Well, I know, but we
really
keep saying we want to do 8 or 9 webinars.
Oh, we keep changing it.
It's too many webinars.
Folks, here we are at the planning session, our annual summit with the Harvest Group. You can tell the energy is pretty positive here. But let's talk a little bit about, hey guys, we'll come back to that webinar thing. We're going to get that thing resolved, I can assure you. But let's talk about some of the steps of having a successful planning meeting, right? We have an annual summit here at the Harvest Group, just like we suggest for our clients as well, right?
Absolutely.
So step one, the tip would be have an agenda, have an agenda up in front, and then give enough lead time for people to be prepared for that agenda. And then also decide who's going to attend that meeting. So 2 months, maybe a month, maybe 2 months ahead of time, who's going to attend, where it's going to be, and the topics we're going to cover. What would you suggest, Steve?
I think playing off of that agenda, making sure that our meetings are run very efficiently. We want to have some meeting management norms. For example, because it's going to be a lively group here, you want to set some ground rules. For example, most people will have computers here. We want to restrict their computers so they don't have internet access.
Whoa, Harvester Steve, no, come on.
Don't let him have
No, he did it twice.
The rule of engagement.
Ed, you can't do your internet right now. You can't. We have to show respect to the other team participants.
Harvester, no.
Another meeting management norm would be to turn off all your cell phones and not use them as another distraction. A third one would be not to interrupt, Ed. That's
Who would do that?
That's Ed. Okay, no interruptions. And the last one, just very briefly, sometimes the discussion will get very detail oriented, gets into the weeds. You may want to put that on a piece of butcher paper or put it on the parking lot to address it later offline. Okay? Cindy?
But first things first, we take a look back at what we accomplished over the last year. We have our Bible, our playbook, and we go through it. We all have our assignments, we all have our action items. We look at our successes, we look at maybe where we fell short, and we make sure we have alignment with our mission and our vision. So that's the first critical step in a planning meeting.
And then we do the fun part, which is write the new playbook. We set our goals for the next period, and we make sure those are defined, that they're measurable, that they're specific, and they're actionable.
And once you have your goals figured out, you need to drill it down to about 2 or 3 primary goals. These should be the things that are going to make the biggest effect on your business over the next year. You also want to kind of fill in with some secondary goals, because those will really help out and fill out, give your team some other options to really focus on.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Microphone away.
Oh, I'm sorry. Really the last thing, second to the last thing, is you need a champion for the goals. And we've decided that we can really only handle 3 major items for this coming year. And so we need a champion to remind the whole group, right? So that we keep moving forward with those 3 items. And we meet on a regular basis at 9 o'clock every Monday morning, and we talk about, we have an agenda, and we try to remind ourselves about these goals. So I think a champion is really important too. We still have to do that.
And then finally, when you're wrapping all this up, you need to make sure that you have all of this documented in a report for everybody so everybody can be copied on it. You make sure you have timelines, you make sure the action items and the goals are in there, and with the prioritization schedule that's in there. You want to make sure that's all laid out with those timelines, and then you want to have a series of follow-up checks along the way to make sure that the action items are being done, the champions are on target, and the goals are being achieved. That way everything wraps up, and all of these very fun planning meetings can be very productive and have the outcomes that we're looking for.
Wow, so that's pretty good stuff. We learned some pretty good tips there, didn't we?
Yeah, we did, but we never got the items about the webinar.
Let's go to webinar.
We
They
gotta
still want
get the
to.
webinar.
Days a month. Bill Hartman here from the West Coast. I'll try